So in this video I'm going to talk about some of my expectations for year 2 of Fire Emblem Heroes, and then after that I'm going to talk about some of the things I'm not expecting, but some of the things I hope will get introduced in Fire Emblem Heroes. And there's definitely a lot of stuff to talk about regarding what I think they could change in Fire Emblem Heroes, but I'm not going to go over every single point I have, so I'm just going to try to hit some main points that I think are worth talking about. So let's talk about summoning pool changes, and I think after 1 year or 1 year's time in general would be a really good period to make some shifts among the availability of some units. Like for example, I'm not sure if they would further restrict some units upper tier. So like example, Reinhardt would be limited as a 5-star unit instead of a 4 or 5-star unit. And they definitely could, I hope they definitely shift more units down from the 5-star tier into 4-star and 3-star units, because I mean some skills are only available on 5-star units, or most skills are locked to 4 or 5 stars, and honestly I think it would be much better if we just had the ability to get more availability of skills because units get shifted down a tier. And there's definitely no reason for certain units to be in the 5-star pool. Like for example, I would say the 5-star pool is definitely limited to either the newer characters that are coming out, or just characters that have special legendary preferred weapons in general, since they are supposed to be the popular powerful ones. It makes sense, but I see no reason why certain units are only limited as 4 or 5 stars, and why they shouldn't just be shifted down into the 3 or 4-star pool, so that people can, get more copies of them, as well as just get more copies of skills easier to get. I think it would be I would hope that this is a change they make. I'm not expecting some drastic shift, but I would hope a couple units get changed and we just get a larger 3 to 4-star pool in general. Sort of tacking on to this idea of a different 3 to 4-star or 5-star pools, I think they could change out the daily unit rotation, and those are the special daily maps that change out every single day with a new hero you can get, and these are really good for new players, and everyone at the start of the game had the opportunity to get certain heroes for free basically, even though they're only 1-star or 2-star versions. I think it would either be really nice, or I'm expecting that either these daily maps get refreshed so you can get these units again, or they just change it out completely for a different set of units, which I think would be the better option, and that's something I'm expecting to happen. Now, as for expectations for new content in year 2, let's talk about Grand Hero Battles first. I definitely think it's obvious that they ran out for year 1, which is why there was so many reruns, and why certain reruns probably just didn't happen yet. They definitely don't want to give out too many strong units, and I'm gonna expect that they have a better plan going into year 2. That would be the only reason why I don't think any new content has appeared at the end of year 1. They basically were just trying to stock up for year 2 and make sure they don't run out then instead, which is what I'm hoping for basically. I also want to point out that it's probably really tough, or it's probably going to be a little tough for them to balance it out, because while Grand Hero Battles are awesome, you don't want to give out super strong powerful units, because then you get situations like Xander and Camus where these are sort of almost must-have units sometimes. And honestly, when they don't rerun them, then people can't, newer players won't even have the chance. Honestly, if you miss Xander or Camus, you missed out on some 2 really good units, and we have no idea when they're coming back. At the same time, they also have to make sure that Grand Hero Battle units are enticing enough for players to do them, because then you get situations like Lloyd, who, well, let's just say I don't see him very often, if at all. So you want to balance it out between somewhat decent units that, players can get for playing the game for free, but you don't want them to be super OP and that they have to become must-haves for certain teams or whatever. Now, I know the story of Fire Emblem Heroes is sort of a polarizing topic for some players. Personally, I enjoy it, but that's mainly because I'm not expecting anything huge coming out of a mobile gacha game, and some people feel different about that. And there's also the crowd who feels like there's not enough story, and I can kind of agree with that, because, well, we just had Book 2 launch last month, or was it the month before already? Basically, the entire last month, we've been left out to dry regarding the story. We just got a brand new villain, or a brand new couple of villains, and basically nothing's happened in a month. And that's mainly because we've had double special event banners with 2 paralogs instead. So that's one of the issues with a gacha game, or a game like this, where it's we want to have new content every 2 weeks, but when we have special event special event banners, then we're obviously not going to be progressing the story. So I don't know, balancing between story and paralogs is going to be tricky, and every 2 weeks is sort of a tough time period for a whole year of story. Honestly, I'm expecting that the story will hopefully get updated more often, but just because it's a mobile gacha game, my expectations aren't very high. So the last point for major expectations for year 2 is going to be about new game modes, and if you did the recent survey that was passed out by Intelligent Systems and Game, then you probably could tell that there were a lot of questions regarding new game modes or certain game mode ideas, and they wanted to know what players' opinions were on them. So that's, in my opinion, that's a good sign that they're trying to come up with new game modes. Unfortunately, it most likely means that we will not see new game modes probably within the next month, maybe next 2 or 3 months. It takes a long time for game development to happen, even for simple games like this. It also could mean that these were game modes that could potentially show up next month even, and they just want their people's opinions so that they could tweak them further. So I think we're just gonna, on this topic, we're just gonna have to give Intelligent Systems some time. It's good that they're willing to ask the audience for questions or for their opinions too, but you know, I wouldn't go into the the 1 year anniversary expecting brand new game mode right there. So tying in with new game modes, I think more Tempest Trials minis would be great in my opinion. I think the reason Tempest Trials lasts 2 weeks in the first place is just to cover, or basically it's for them to say that, well, here's a whole week of content right there. Because if Tempest Trials were only 1 week, like the one mini one lasted for, then that's a whole nother week that they have to fill with something else, whether it's new quests or new special maps. So I think if they have more events planned and new game mode, hopefully maybe Tempest Trials can always be 1 week, which I think is a lot better time frame. The Warriors maps that were introduced and brought back recently, and still going on actually, I think they were perfect additions to the game. They were really awesome. I think they were just supposed to be cool representations of the Fire Emblem Warriors game, but they turned out to be really awesome for farming experience and SP for learning skills. And I think it would be amazing if they came back more often. Maybe not for a whole month like it is right now, but maybe have special certain weekends once per month where you bring back all the Warriors maps so that people can just farm up a whole bunch of units for SP when they want to. I think that'd be really good. It would kind of act like a mini special event going on, if you know what I'm saying. As for actual new game modes, would a horde type mode work in Fire Emblem? Maybe you could combine the idea of Tempest Trials and Chain Challenge, where you pick your best units and you see how far or how many enemies you can kill or how many maps you can clear, and then you could have rewards based on scoring. I think that could be a possible event type. Maybe not as crazy as Tempest Trials, maybe like Arena, where you go for a high score of the week, let's say. There could also be the potential of co-op game modes. I don't think true PvP, real-time player versus player arena, will ever happen, but I could see co-op modes, playing with your friends, could definitely happen. Fire Emblem, or the main Fire Emblem games in general, do have allied, non-controllable units in a battle, and sometimes you have special objectives like protect these allies. So I think it could tie into Fire Emblem Heroes. Instead, you just have maybe you pick 2 units, your friend picks 2 units, you go into a map to battle, and you guys have to work together to clear content. Maybe it's not even someone on your friends list. Maybe it's just a random person or something. Who knows? It could be a cool idea. So now I want to talk about some things I'm hoping get added to Fire Emblem Heroes. These are definitely things I'm not expecting at all, but they're I think it'd be cool if they could be added eventually. So with the 1 year anniversary, I'm hoping that they add a whole bunch of new characters, a whole chunk. And what I mean by this is when Fire Emblem Heroes started, we had certain games that had chunks of characters, like Fire Emblem 7 and 6, or Awakening and Fates had a bunch of characters just set in the 3 or 4 star pool. And I think it'd be a good opportunity to introduce a whole bunch of characters from other Fire Emblem games, because at the rate we're going, we're never gonna get most of the Fire Emblem cast into the game. So I think introducing a whole bunch at one time would be good. Not sure how this would affect the summoning pool, Maybe we have different summoning pools, who knows. But I think it would be a cool way to introduce, not introduce new skills and weapons, but basically make or have more units with the newer skills and weapons that have been added into the game recently. So it could be good for skill inheritance, but I don't know how this would affect the summoning pool. Another thing I'm hoping for that gets added to the game is another way to get skills for inheriting. Like, I think it would be really cool to have rewards for certain skills like Fury 3 or Death Blow 3. It could be an item, or it could just be some kind of special. Maybe you get a generic unit that just has that one skill available, so you can't use them for combat, but you can use them for skill inheriting, which I think would be great in my opinion. I think it would be a cool way to add more options for skill inheritance, and a cool reward in general. One thing I'm not expecting for Arena, but I'm hoping gets added to the game, is some way to see how many matches my defense team has played. Because at the current moment, you kind of just throw your defense team out there, and then sometimes you get 1 win, 2 wins, other times you get 5, 6, even 10 wins. And then there's weeks where you get 0 wins, and it's like, I have no idea if my team is just bad, or if I'm just not even getting match made. Like, if I'm losing a bunch of matches, I'll know my team's bad, I gotta change something. If I'm not even getting match made with someone, then it's like, I have no idea if my team is bad or not. So I wish that was something they told us. It would also be really interesting if, you know, we could just find out, hey, I played in 25 arena matches and my team won so many. That'd be really cool. Last thing that I hope that they improve in Fire Emblem Heroes mainly is the friends list system, and mainly more uses for friends, or maybe just an expansion of the friends list in general. So I know a lot of gacha games that make it meaningful to have a decent list of friends. Usually it's like you get to use their main unit for something. And Voting Gauntlet kind of does the same thing, and it's really cool when I get to use someone's plus 10 Nino. But I wish there was some other way to interact with friends units, and that would be amazing. I think a neat feature they could add is if you could just challenge your friends list, you could challenge their defense teams for Arena of that week. I think that'd be really fun to see, you know, what other units they have stacked up, or just what they're doing in general. Like, I think that'd be really cool. Maybe offer some more feather rewards, like say you beat you know how every day you get 5 feathers from the one unit who visits your castle at the start of reset. Maybe you can challenge their defense team, and if you win, you get like maybe 100, 200 feathers. That'd be a nice bonus in my opinion. I hope you guys enjoyed my ramblings on what I'm expecting and hoping for in Year 2 of Fire Emblem Heroes. I'm not expecting like a huge shift. Honestly, some of the things that we already got, like the weapon refinery, personally, that's what I would have expected from a 1-year anniversary type update. So we'll just have to see what they have planned. Let me know in the comments what you think will happen with the 1-year anniversary. Will we just get 1 orb and 100 feathers, or will we get a whole bunch of orbs, Grand Hero battles left and right, new summoning units everywhere, new banners? It could be a fun time. We'll just have to see. I just want to get this video out there before they made any official announcements. So, you know, I just want to have some fun. That's it for now. I have a very fun video that I'm really excited to talk about soon. So I'll see you guys in that one.